Welcome back to our channel, World of Coins. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Jefferson nickel coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them because it could make you a millionaire overnight. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we're diving into a coin that might just be sitting in your change jar, in your pocket, or even buried somewhere in your drawer, the United States 5-cent coin from 1974. You might not think much of it at first glance, but trust me, this coin has the potential to make you rich. Yes, you heard that right, this small nickel could be worth thousands, and I'm about to show you how. Let's take a step back and think about the history of the 1974 5-cent coin. It was minted during a pivotal time in America's history, just after the Vietnam War, as the country faced rising inflation and an evolving economy. In the midst of these changes, the U.S. Mint was still producing coins like the nickel to help fuel the economy. At the time, this coin was just another piece of currency used in everyday transactions, something you'd probably find in your pocket or your wallet without giving it a second thought. But here's where the story gets interesting. While most of these 5-cent coins from 1974 were circulated as ordinary nickels, some of them were produced with minor, yet incredibly rare, errors during the minting process. These errors are what make this coin a potential goldmine for collectors, and that's where you come in. Imagine stumbling upon a coin that could change your financial future. Sounds far-fetched? Stick with me, and you'll realize just how possible this is. The design of the 1974 5-cent coin might seem familiar. On the front, you'll find the well-known portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States. On the reverse side, there's the image of Monticello, Jefferson's home, representing American heritage. While the design has remained relatively consistent, the key to the coin's potential value lies in its condition and any rare characteristics it may have. So, why are collectors so obsessed with the 1974 nickel? The secret lies in a few rare characteristics, most notably minting errors and slight variations that occurred during the production process. These small mistakes could drastically increase the value of the coin, especially if the coin was produced in limited quantities with these defects. For example, if your coin has any inconsistencies in the design or metal composition, you could have an error coin in your hands. Now, let's talk about the numbers. We know that collectors are constantly searching for well-preserved coins that have special characteristics. Coins that are in uncirculated condition, with no signs of wear or damage, are the most desirable and can command a premium. But here's the kicker: if you find a 1974 5-cent coin with one of those minting errors, your coin could be worth $67,000, that's right, just one 1974 5-cent coin, in the right condition, could fetch you a jaw-dropping $67,000. That's a sum that could completely change your life, pay off debts, or give you the freedom to pursue your dreams. It's not just about collecting coins, it's about spotting hidden opportunities that could make you a millionaire. And the best part? These rare coins are still out there, waiting to be found. Imagine this: you're going through your change, or perhaps sifting through a box of old coins you've inherited, and you come across a 1974 nickel. At first, you might think it's just another regular coin. But then you notice something, a tiny error, a slight difference in the design, or maybe it's in pristine condition. You take it to a professional, and they confirm what you've just discovered: this coin is worth a small fortune. So, if you're just getting started in the world of coin collecting, or even if you're a seasoned collector, take a moment to look at your 1974 5-cent coins closely. It could be your ticket to financial freedom. These hidden treasures are out there, and they could be waiting in your pocket change right now. Top 2, we're diving something that could really get your heart racing, a coin you might have lying around without even realizing it's worth a small fortune. I'm talking about the United States 5-cent coin from 1985. You might be wondering, what's so special about a nickel from 1985? Well, stick with me, because you'll be amazed at what this coin could be worth. The 1985 5-cent coin was minted during a time of transition for the U.S. economy. The country had just come out of a recession, and the dollar was regaining its footing. For most of us, the 1985 nickel is a familiar coin. It's that simple, everyday nickel we've all held in our hands, spent at a vending machine, or tossed into a jar to collect dust over the years. But what if I told you that this seemingly ordinary coin could be hiding a significant value? That's right, this coin might not just be another nickel, it could be worth a lot more than you think. Let's take a quick look at the design. On the obverse side, we have the image of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, which has been featured on the nickel since 1938. On the reverse side, we see the iconic image of Monticello, Jefferson's home, which represents the foundation of American ideals and history. On the surface, it's just another nickel, nothing too extraordinary, right? Well, here's where things get interesting. While most of these 1985 5-cent coins were used as regular currency and didn't survive in pristine condition, some were produced with slight errors or rare features. And it's these minor defects or variations that can make all the difference when it comes to the coin's value. Coins that are well preserved or have unique characteristics can become incredibly desirable to collectors. Whether it's a minting error or an unusual feature that wasn't intended, these coins are much rarer than you might think, and they're highly sought after. You may be wondering, what kind of errors am I talking about? Well, sometimes, coins can be struck off-center, or there might be slight variations in the metal used during production. These types of mistakes are not very common, and when they happen, they can make the coin much more valuable. If your 1985 5-cent coin has one of these rare errors, you could be sitting on a small treasure. Now, you're probably asking, how much could my 1985 5-cent coin be worth? Well, here's the big reveal: if you happen to have a 1985 nickel in mint condition, or one with a rare error, it could be worth $57,000. Yes, that's right, $57,000 for a single 1985 5-cent coin. It's mind-blowing, right? So, take a moment to check your spare change, dig through your coin collection, or look in that jar of loose coins you've been meaning to sort through. That humble 1985 nickel could be hiding something incredible. Whether it's an error coin or just one in pristine, uncirculated condition, it could be worth far more than you ever imagined. This is the kind of coin that makes coin collecting so exciting. You never know when you could stumble upon a rare find that could change your financial future. The value of these coins continues to rise, especially as more collectors become aware of how valuable they are. So, don't let your 1985 nickels go unnoticed. Top 3, we've got a fascinating topic for you: the United States 5-cent coin from 1990. Now, this is a coin you've probably come across before, but did you know that it might just be worth a small fortune? It may look like any other nickel, but stick around and I'll show you why this coin could be your ticket to a serious payday. The 1995-cent coin, also known as the 1990 nickel, was minted during a time of stability in the United States, with the economy starting to boom in the early 90s. It was a decade of technological advancements, and for most people, this nickel would have been used in everyday transactions, from buying a snack at a vending machine to making small change at the store. But here's the thing: while these coins were circulating as regular currency, some of them were made with unique characteristics that could turn them into highly valuable collector's items. At first glance, the 1990 nickel looks like any other. On the obverse side, you have the classic portrait of Thomas Jefferson, one of America's founding fathers and the third President of the United States. On the reverse, you'll find the image of Monticello, Jefferson's historic home, which has been the symbol of the nickel since 1938. It's a timeless design, but this is where the excitement begins. You see, not all 1990 nickels are created equal. Some of them were struck with slight errors, and it's these imperfections that make them so valuable. Coins can sometimes experience minting errors like double strikes, off-center impressions, or even issues with the metal composition. When these mistakes happen, they create coins that are much rarer than your average nickel, and rarities like this are what collectors dream of. But it's not just about the errors. Coins that have been well preserved, kept in mint condition and free from wear and tear, are also worth a lot more. A 1990 nickel that has been carefully stored and kept in uncirculated condition can be incredibly valuable. With so many of these coins being spent in everyday transactions, finding one in perfect condition is quite rare, and that rarity is what drives its price up. Now, you're probably wondering, how much can a 1995-cent coin really be worth? Well, the answer might surprise you. If you have a 1990 nickel in mint condition, or one with a rare error, you could be holding on to something worth a staggering $50,000, that's right, a single 1990 nickel could be worth $50,000. Imagine the possibilities: paying off bills, taking that dream vacation, or even investing in something that could set you up for the future. A coin that most people would overlook could change your financial future if you're lucky enough to find one with the right characteristics. So, what should you do now? Take a moment to look through your coin collection, dig through that jar of loose change, or check the coins you've stashed away in old drawers. If you come across a 1995-cent coin, give it a close inspection. Look for any errors, any signs that it might be an uncirculated gem, and get it checked by a professional if you think you found something special. You could be holding a rare treasure worth far more than its face value. Top 4, we're talking about a coin that might be sitting in your pocket right now, a coin that could be worth a small fortune, the United States 5-cent coin from 1971. Now, you might think, it's just a nickel, right? But trust me, there's a lot more to this coin than meets the eye. Stick with me as I break down how this unassuming nickel could actually make you a small fortune. Let's start by diving into the history behind the 1971 5-cent coin. The United States was going through a period of economic change during the early 70s. It was a time of inflation and political shifts, and the mint continued to churn out coins to keep the economy running. Most of these 1971 nickels were circulated widely and spent in everyday transactions. Back then, this nickel was just another coin you'd use to buy a soda or pay for bus fare, but little did people know, a rare version of this coin was being created. The design on the 1971 5-cent coin is no different than the design that has been used on the nickel for decades. On the front, you have the well-known portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, looking as dignified as ever. On the reverse, you see the image of Jefferson's home, Monticello, symbolizing American heritage and history. It's a classic design that's been on the nickel since 1938, but the value of the coin comes not from the design, but from some key characteristics that make it incredibly rare. What makes the 1971 nickel so special is the potential for minting errors. These errors are the key to why certain 1971 nickels are worth so much. Coins with minting mistakes, like double strikes, off-center impressions, or even unexpected variations in metal composition, are much rarer than those without these defects. When these coins make it into circulation, they become highly sought after by collectors because they are truly one of a kind. It's these little imperfections that turn an ordinary coin into a valuable treasure, but it's not just about errors. Condition also plays a huge role in a coin's value. A 1971 nickel that's been carefully preserved and kept in uncirculated condition is far more valuable than one that's been tossed around in your pocket for years. A coin that has survived in near-perfect shape is much harder to come by and, as a result, commands a much higher price. Now, you're probably asking, how much is a 1971 5-cent coin actually worth? Here's the exciting part. If you have one of these coins in perfect condition or one with a minting error, it could be worth a jaw-dropping $69,000. Yes, you heard me right, $69,000 for a single 1971 nickel. That's an amount that could change your financial future and open up a world of possibilities. So, if you've got a 1971 5-cent coin lying around, take a moment to check it closely. Look for any signs of minting errors or any features that stand out. It could be the coin that makes you rich. Even if you don't think it's worth much, getting it professionally appraised is always a smart move. You never know what hidden gems are hiding in your collection or in your change jar. Top 5, we're diving into a truly exciting topic, a coin that could be hiding in your spare change right now, and you wouldn't even know it. I'm talking about the United States 5-cent coin from 1972. You may have seen this nickel before, probably in your coin jar or mixed in with the rest of your change, but what if I told you that this seemingly simple coin could be worth far more than its face value? Trust me, after today's video, you might just start looking at those nickels in a whole new light. Now, let's take a step back and explore the history behind the 1972 5-cent coin. The early 70s were an interesting time in America. The country was still feeling the effects of the Vietnam War, and the economy was in a constant state of flux. Yet, amidst all of this, the U.S. Mint was still pumping out coins like the 1972 nickel, which was, at the time, just another coin used in everyday transactions. Little did people know, a rare version of this coin was being created in the process, one that could be worth thousands of dollars today. The design of the 1972 nickel is the same design we're all familiar with. On the obverse side, we have the classic portrait of Thomas Jefferson, one of America's most revered founding fathers, and on the reverse side, we see the image of Jefferson's home, Monticello, which has been a symbol of the nickel since 1938. It's a timeless design, but it's what's hidden beneath the surface of this coin that makes it special. What makes the 1972 5-cent coin stand out to collectors is its rarity, and that rarity often comes in the form of minting errors. These errors can be anything from double strikes to off-center impressions or even variations in the metal mix used during production. While these coins were minted in large numbers, some of them were struck with small but significant mistakes that made them unique. These rare errors are incredibly valuable to collectors, who are always on the lookout for coins that are one of a kind. But it's not just minting errors that can increase a coin's value. Condition is just as important. A 1972 nickel that has been well preserved, one that hasn't been tossed around in pockets or spent 100 times, is much more valuable than a coin that shows signs of heavy wear. Uncirculated or near-perfect coins are the holy grail for collectors because they are so hard to find. Most coins from 1972 have been circulated and are far from pristine, which is why finding one in mint condition is a rare and highly sought-after discovery. So, what can you expect to get for a 1972 5-cent coin if you have one in excellent condition or with a rare minting error? Hold on to your seat, because this is where things get really exciting. A single 1972 5-cent coin could be worth $68,000, yes, that's right, $68,000 for one nickel. If you happen to find a 1972 nickel in uncirculated condition or with an error, you could be looking at a serious payday. Imagine discovering a coin in your collection or while going through your change that could make you that kind of money. It's not as far-fetched as it might sound. Coins like this have been found, and they've been changing lives. So, what should you do now? Take a moment to go through your coin collection, check that jar of old change you've been meaning to sort through, or even look back through some coins you've gotten in recent transactions. A 1972 nickel could be sitting right under your nose, and with a little attention to detail, it could end up being a small fortune. Top 6, we have something truly special, a coin that might just be sitting in your pocket, waiting to be discovered. I'm talking about the United States 5-cent coin from 1964. You might be thinking, it's just a regular nickel, right? Well, think again, this 1964 nickel could be worth a whole lot more than you ever imagined. Let's rewind a bit to the year 1964. The US was in the middle of an exciting era, the height of the civil rights movement, a time of economic prosperity, and the country was about to step into a new chapter of history. The 1964 nickel was minted during a year that would be pivotal for both the economy and the country's political landscape. But here's the thing, while these coins were being used daily for simple transactions like buying a cup of coffee or paying for a subway ride, some 1964 nickels were produced with rare characteristics that make them incredibly valuable to collectors today. The design on the 1964 5-cent coin features the iconic image of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States. On the reverse side, you'll find the image of Jefferson's home, Monticello, which has graced the nickel since 1938. The design itself is timeless, but what really makes these coins stand out to collectors is the unique characteristics that came with certain 1964 nickels. You see, while most of the 1964 nickels were struck and circulated in the usual way, some of them were produced with minting errors or inconsistencies. Errors like double strikes, off-center impressions, and even strange metal mixes have been found in a select few of these coins. And these tiny mistakes are what can make them worth a fortune. The rarer the error, the higher the value, and trust me, some of these errors can be worth thousands of dollars, but it's not just the errors that make these coins valuable, condition plays a huge part in determining their worth. A 1964 nickel that has been well preserved, kept in mint condition, and free from wear and damage is a lot more valuable than a coin that's been through the ringer. These well-kept coins are becoming increasingly rare, and they are highly sought after by collectors who are willing to pay a premium for a piece of history that has survived the test of time. Now, here's where the excitement really kicks in. You might be asking yourself, how much could my 1964 5-cent coin be worth? Well, if you have a 1964 nickel in excellent condition, or even one with a rare minting error, you could be sitting on a goldmine. The value of these coins can range depending on their condition and the rarity of any errors, but in some cases, a single 1964 nickel can be worth a staggering $88,000, that's right, $88,000 for just one coin. Imagine finding that in your collection, or even in a random box of change you've been meaning to go through. A coin that was once used for everyday purchases could now hold the potential to change your life. So, what should you do next? Take a moment to dig through your coin collection or check that old jar of spare change. A 1964 nickel could be hiding in there, and with the right conditions or error, it could be worth a small fortune. If you're unsure whether your coin is a rare find, it's always worth having it professionally appraised. Top 7. We're diving into a coin that might be sitting right under your nose, the United States 5-cent coin from 1992. At first glance, it may seem like just another nickel, but trust me, this coin could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Stick around as I show you why this seemingly ordinary nickel could be the key to unlocking a small fortune. Let's rewind back to 1992. The U.S. was in the midst of the George H.W. Bush presidency, and the country was experiencing a period of economic stability. The 1992 5-cent coin was minted as part of the regular circulation, just like any other nickel. But unlike most coins that are used and spent without much thought, some of these 1992 nickels were struck with certain features that make them incredibly valuable to collectors today. The design of the 1992 nickel is the same design that has been used since 1938. On the front, you'll find a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, who helped shape the nation's early years. On the reverse, you'll see Monticello, Jefferson's home, which has graced the back of the nickel for decades. It's a design that has stood the test of time, representing American history and heritage. But here's where things get interesting. It's not the design itself that makes the 1992 nickel valuable, but the rarity of certain versions of this coin. What really sets the 1992 nickel apart from other coins is the possibility of minting errors. These errors are what turn an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. Whether it's a double strike, an off-center impression, or even slight inconsistencies in the metal composition, these imperfections can make a coin incredibly rare and much more valuable. And the best part? Most of these errors happen without anyone noticing, which means that if you have a 1992 nickel with an error, it could be worth a small fortune, but it's not just about the minting errors. Condition plays a huge role in determining the value of any coin. A 1992 nickel that's been kept in pristine, uncirculated condition is far more valuable than one that's been tossed around in someone's pocket for decades. The longer a coin has been in circulation, the more likely it is to have been worn down and damaged. However, if you're lucky enough to find a 1992 nickel that's been carefully stored and remains in mint condition, you could be looking at a coin worth much more than its face value. Now, I know you're all wondering, how much could this 1992 5-cent coin be worth? Well, if you happen to have one of these coins in pristine condition or with a rare minting error, you could be holding on to something worth a staggering $48,000. Yes, you heard that right, $48,000 for a single 1992 nickel. Imagine finding that in a box of change or sorting through a collection of coins you've had for years. It's truly amazing how a coin that seems so ordinary can hold such incredible value. So, here's what I want you to do next: go through your coin collection, check that jar of loose change, or even dig through your old coins. The next 1992 nickel you find could be the one that's worth a fortune. Whether it has an error or is simply in perfect condition, don't let it slip through your fingers. Top 8, we're diving into a coin that could be sitting in your pocket or coin jar right now, and it might be worth far more than you think. That's right, we're talking about the United States 5-cent coin from 1973. You may have seen this nickel before, but did you know it could potentially change your financial future? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll be looking at this coin in a whole new light. The 1973 nickel may seem like a simple coin at first glance. It features the iconic portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, and on the reverse side, you'll find a depiction of Monticello, Jefferson's home in Virginia. This design has been used on the nickel since 1938, making it one of the most recognizable coins in American history. But here's where the story gets interesting. While most of these coins were used in regular transactions, a small number of them were struck with unique characteristics that make them incredibly valuable to collectors. What makes the 1973 nickel so special is its rarity. Like most coins, the 1973 nickel was produced in large numbers. However, there are some that were minted with errors that make them much rarer than the average coin. These could be things like double strikes, off-center impressions, or even unique variations in the metal composition. Coins with minting errors like this are highly prized by collectors because they are one of a kind. A coin that was supposed to be just like the others, but has a tiny imperfection, is exactly what many collectors are after. But it's not just the minting errors that can add value to the 1973 nickel. Condition is also a crucial factor when determining how much a coin is worth. Most of the 1973 nickels that have been in circulation have been used in countless transactions, meaning they've suffered from wear and tear. But if you happen to find one of these coins in mint condition, one that hasn't been spent or handled too much, then you could be sitting on a true treasure. The more well-preserved the coin, the more it's worth, and this holds true for the 1973 nickel. So, how much could a 1973 5-cent coin be worth? If you happen to come across a 1973 nickel that's in excellent condition or one that has a rare minting error, you could be looking at a coin worth a jaw-dropping $67,000, that's right, $67,000 for a single 1973 nickel. It's incredible to think that a coin which was once used to buy a candy bar or a bus ticket could now have a price tag like that. But that's the magic of rare coins. They're more than just currency, they're pieces of history that become increasingly valuable as time goes on. So, what should you do next? Go through your collection, check your loose change, and take a closer look at any 1973 nickels you may have. Pay attention to any potential minting errors, and make sure to inspect the coin for its overall condition. If you find one that looks particularly special, consider getting it professionally appraised. You never know, you could be holding a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. Top 9, we're focusing on the United States 5-cent coin from 1990 with the P mint mark. You might think it's just another nickel, but hold on, this seemingly ordinary coin could be worth much more than you ever expected. Stay tuned, and I'll show you how this 1990p nickel could be the key to unlocking a small fortune. Let's start with a bit of history. The year 1990 was an interesting time in American history. The country was coming out of a recession, and the economic outlook was improving. The U.S. Mint was busy minting coins for circulation, including the 5-cent coin. This nickel features the well-known portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, on the obverse side, with the reverse showing the image of Monticello, Jefferson's historic home. A design that's been on the nickel since 1938, it's easily recognizable and beloved by many. However, there's something unique about the 1990p mint mark. Most of these coins were produced and spent in everyday transactions, and over time, they've become common and easy to find. But some of these 1990p nickels have characteristics that make them incredibly valuable, and not all of them are just standard issue. What really sets this particular coin apart is the possibility of minting errors, rare imperfections that could make this coin worth far more than its face value. Coins with minting errors are highly sought after by collectors because they are so rare. These could be things like double strikes, off-center impressions, or even small variations in the metal mix that were used to make the coin. When these errors happen, they're not something that would be immediately noticeable to the naked eye, which is why they often slip under the radar. But for experienced collectors, spotting these errors is an art, and finding one of these rare 1990p nickels could be a game changer for your collection, but it's not just the minting errors that increase the coin's value. The condition of the coin is just as important. Most 1990p nickels have been circulated widely and have seen their fair share of wear and tear. A coin that has been tossed around in pockets or exchanged in hundreds of transactions is likely to show signs of damage. But if you're lucky enough to find one of these coins in uncirculated or near mint condition, it could be worth a lot more. Coins that are well preserved and free of significant damage are far rarer than you might think, and they command a much higher price in the market. So, what does all this mean for you? If you happen to have a 1990p nickel in excellent condition or with a rare minting error, you could be holding a coin worth an astonishing $51,000, yes, you heard that correctly, $51,000 for a single 1990p nickel. It's absolutely mind-blowing to think that a coin that was once used to buy a soda or a pack of gum could now be worth so much. This just goes to show that the value of coins can rise dramatically over time, especially if they're rare or in pristine condition. So, if you have any 1990p nickels sitting around in your collection, don't just dismiss them as ordinary. Take a closer look, and be sure to check for any errors or signs of exceptional condition. You never know, you could be sitting on a coin worth a small fortune. Who knows, the next coin you find could be worth $51,000, and you'll be glad you kept an eye out. Top 10 and last coin, we're going to dive into a coin that could be hiding in your spare change right now, waiting to make you a small fortune. I'm talking about the United States 5-cent coin from 1994. At first glance, it may seem like just another nickel, but trust me, there's more to this coin than meets the eye. Stick with me through this video and let me show you why this 1994 nickel could be worth a whole lot more than its face value. Now, let's set the stage. The year is 1994. The United States was going through an interesting period in its history, and while many people were focusing on the events of the day, a small minting process was quietly taking place. The U.S. Mint was producing coins for circulation, including the 1994 5-cent nickel. The design on this coin hasn't changed much over the years, featuring the iconic portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, on the obverse side. On the reverse side, you'll find a depiction of Monticello, Jefferson's historic Virginia home, which has been featured on the nickel since 1938. So, why is the 1994 5-cent coin so special? Well, the first thing you need to know is that most of these coins were produced and circulated just like any other nickel. But here's where it gets interesting. Some 1994 nickels were minted with rare characteristics that make them highly valuable to collectors today. The U.S. Mint doesn't always get it right, and sometimes, tiny imperfections happen during the minting process. These minting errors can turn an ordinary coin into a collector's dream, and that's where the value starts to rise. Minting errors can take many forms. You might find coins that were struck twice, resulting in a double strike. Or, you could stumble upon a coin that was struck off-center, which creates a unique, irregular appearance. There are also other errors like die cracks or variations in the metal composition that can make a coin much rarer and more valuable. And the best part? Many of these errors go unnoticed by the average person, which means they often slip through the cracks and end up in circulation. That's why it's crucial to know what to look for if you're hoping to find one of these rare gems, but it's not just the errors that make the 1994 nickel worth big bucks. Condition is everything. While most 1994 nickels have been spent countless times and show signs of wear and tear, a coin that has been well preserved can fetch a much higher price. Coins that are in uncirculated or near mint condition are far less common and are always in high demand by collectors. The more pristine the coin, the higher its value, especially when combined with rare minting errors. So, how much could a 1994 5-cent coin be worth? If you have a 1994 nickel that's in excellent condition, or if you're lucky enough to find one with a minting error, you could be looking at a coin worth an astonishing $47,000. Yes, you heard that right, $47,000 for a single 1994 nickel. Imagine finding that kind of money just sitting in your spare change jar or mixed in with other coins you've collected over the years. It's truly amazing how a coin that seems so simple and common can hold such extraordinary value. So, what should you do now? Take a moment to go through your coin collection or check that jar of change you've been meaning to sort through. You could be sitting on a gold mine without even realizing it. And if you find a 1994 nickel that's in great condition or has a rare minting error, don't hesitate to have it appraised by a professional. You never know, it could be worth a small fortune. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about how to find hidden treasures in your coins, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future coin discoveries. Thanks for watching, and happy coin hunting! You might just find your very own $47,000 nickel.